Okay, hey you guys, it's Amanda. Welcome to New Body Wisdom Day 4. We've been talking this week and last about ways to transition your physical body, to help your physical body through these energy transitions we've been having. So as you're joining, say hello. As you're watching the replay, say replay love in the comments below. Let me know you're here. Let me know how you've done with the first, I think I just said we're on day 4, we're on day 3. I don't know what I said. Somebody can let me know. Let me know how you did with day 1 and day 2. Hey Judy, good to see you. And who caught the great conjunction last night? Who saw Jupiter kissing Saturn? Who saw that transition? That was a beautiful moment in the sky. And is really kind of ties in with what we're talking about, right? Like this energy has been affecting our physical bodies, and this was kind of the symbolic, not only did it happen on the solstice where we welcome back the light, right? The shortest day of the year, the longest darkness, and then we start welcoming back the light. It's a masculine planet meeting a feminine one, calling faith to form. So what are you releasing? What identities of yourself are you releasing? What are you calling in? What faith are you bringing to form to your own reality as you build your own reality? I want to know. And we already kind of talked about some of that stuff. Today is interesting. I want to, in a lot of these videos, we've been also kind of the undercurrent has been what old identities and what old beliefs are we releasing, like what as a collective is no longer serving us as beliefs and identities and behaviors and things like that, as we kind of flip into even the more practical and logical things. The thing that I want to talk about today is the whole idea of community. And a lot of us, hey Judy, a lot of us have found a lot of community online, right? And the unity of community, and how in general we're moving more towards a sense of unity in one human family, one sentient being family, than not, right? And being able to help all people with basic needs. And the flip side of that, the role of sovereignty, and we're very individualistic, like very individualistically minded in our society. So I want to talk about the kind of the benefits of both. So over this year, we've seen story after story, and I'm sure you've, in your personal life, have been helping each other, supporting each other, needed help, received help, given help, and things like that. And that's really important. There's this idea that we're facing something as a community, as a global collective that we've never faced before. So this idea that even the professionals don't exactly know what's going on. So the idea that we band together, talk about our own experiences, and just be there for each other during this novel time is base level important, right? We're interdependent creatures, mammals who depend on each other. And we've seen a lot of the interconnectedness of life just in the way this virus has traveled, right? Like we've seen how interconnected we are. The World Wide Web, the Wood Wide Web, and just the way humans travel about the world. Energy is the same way. So I want to talk about the sense of supporting each other, and that sense of compassion, generosity, and even responsibility, in the tribe to make sure everybody's thriving, without a sense of obligation or losing your own sovereignty. So to do this, I think it's best to talk about my own experience than try to talk about it in theory. So you guys know that I've shared that this is the way my body chose to go through transition was through coronavirus. So a lot that kind of took my body way down to zero, right? Like I needed more help than it was comfortable for me to receive. And people showed up, like, I'm incredibly blessed. People showed up out of the woodwork, like friends, my boyfriend, all of my local friends who are around here, like in my local community. A lot of people showed up to help. A lot of people sent things from faraway lands and just sent resources and gifts, and it was so appreciated. And the other thing that I received was feedback about Amanda. It was someone said something like, it was inspiring to see you ask for what you needed, like being willing to ask for help, right? And that wasn't something I could do not that long ago, ask for that much help. And to me, it felt like I had to keep asking, right? Like I had to keep putting my needs out there to let people help me, to let them know what I needed, to put the call out several times and be able to receive that. And that was uncomfortable for me. There was a point that I reached where it was like, okay to receive this much help, but then at that point, gosh, this thing is going on 5 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks. And hasn't everyone helped me enough? That I was wanting to like put a cap on my receiving. And that was a place of growth for me, right? To be able to, one, keep voicing what I needed, and two, be able to receive it past a certain point, which is indicative of, the nature of the feminine is to receive and multiply, right? So it's continuing to let that balance with the masculine, and also the idea that we are infinitely abundant and all of our needs are taken care of. And that we, that truth, that divine truth, that there is no cap, right? There is no limit. There is no limit to the ways that the universe can support me, that the planet can support me, and you. So there was a stepping into that, knowing that everything is there for me. Right? Everything is there for you. Judy says, moving thought to a more conscious level, letting go of things, surrounding myself with patience, love, and light. That sounds beautiful and exactly what's called for this time of year. So while I was in that deep experience, right? That deep resetting of my body that's still kind of like unraveling, I was able to receive that kind of deep help. And there's an acute phase where there's also, hey Chanel, hey beautiful, good to see you. There's also the flip side of the same coin, is staying in our own energy, staying in our own body sovereignty, staying in our own, like, not over extending ourselves, right? Staying in our own energy, basically. So there's also a point where I had, when I was ill, like maybe the 2 or 3 good women friends that I was bouncing things off of and able to communicate with, and then there was I had very limited energy, time, aware and awake constitution to send text messages or to receive calls or to be to have the wherewithal to do that stuff, right? So, so there was a lot that went unanswered. And so there's this flip side of we're supporting each other, but not accepting others' projections or fears or whatever it is about what you're going through, or their interpretation even of what you're going through. So for me, that was, when as I communicated that I had it, there were a lot of oh, this is so scary, or, oh, be careful of all the long-term, like people just projecting, like well-meaning people just projecting a lot of things, and friends saying stuff like that, like, oh, just be careful of this, be careful of that, oh my goodness, this virus is so scary, be careful of this in your body or that in your body, or like just projecting just kind of vomiting their fears at me. Or, oh, I'm so freaked out. Like at that moment, a friend who had been in contact with me, who didn't get the virus, but was scared that she might have contracted it because she was close to me. Oh, I'm so freaked out. I'm so freaked out. And in that moment, I had done my job of communicating to her that I had it, but I had no ability to hold space for her freak out in that moment, right? Like that wasn't something that I could provide. My job at that point was simply to get myself better, to rest, and to do everything in my power to get better. So it's an interesting, if you guys joined me kind of when we were early in quarantine, I did a few exercise in which I did there were energy management exercises, like ways to stay in your own energy. With my clients, I call this giving the bags back, right, to their kids or their loved ones, or a situation or work bag. Like, I see energetically a lot of my clients carrying these bags, like these book bags that are not theirs. If you're gonna carry a book bag, at least make sure it's yours, right? At least make sure it's your own shit. But we give those energetic bags back. We stay in our own, we call our energy back to ourselves in our own body, in our own midline, our own, kind of nervous system. And another thing that I had to do when people were kind of vomiting their fears at me was, and I used to do this like in a toxic relationship too, was just see the words kind of like they don't get to penetrate me or come to me. They just kind of drop between us. So as you engage with your community, your friends, your loved ones in whatever way is safe for you right now and feels good, you'll get to know how, like, the ways of supporting each other and giving and receiving and building more unity, and also the ways of being in your own power and letting them be in theirs through body sovereignty and energy management exercises. And simply, we call this cleaning up your side of the street, simply being in your own energy, calling your words back to you, only holding your own bags, letting your yes be yes and your no be no. So this is a sense of, how do I be generous? Because there has been much hardship this year. Like, that's the truth of it, right? Every person I know, everyone I know has been through something. Or if I think, oh, I haven't talked to this friend or that friend in a few months, I call them up to find out their mom died, or their young child is going through a diagnosis, or they were in a horrible car accident, or they gave in to their addictions and are going through that, or, just thing after thing of literally everyone I know. So if you're going through it, A, don't be afraid to ask for help. B, don't be afraid to check in with people around you and see how you might be able to help them, and give within your means, give within what feels good, right? There's a sense of, what can I provide for someone, a sense of generosity and compassion and even responsibility to the community, to the tribe, without being obligation. I think of obligation energy as building resentment later. Whereas that sense of generosity and compassion is like you're happy to do it. Like that's something that's a heaven yes for you. And then be happy to receive it when you're on the other end, right? Be happy. Don't rob the gift giver of being able to give the gift because you can't receive, or you can't receive past a certain point, which I just talked about in my own story. If you're just now joining, hey, I see Jana. Chanel says, oh my gosh, I love that, and it's so perfect. I'm not carrying anyone's book bag anymore. Yes. So identifying what book bags you're carrying and then giving them back to their rightful owners. Hey Rita, good morning. This is so interesting. You're having friends projecting their fears at you, not for the same reasons. Yes, of course, it's not necessarily going to be the same way, but you're learning about your own energy. But it's universal in the sense of we're going towards more stepping out of individualistic thinking and more in the community, the unity of community, and making sure everyone is taken care of, the most vulnerable amongst us, and a sense of greater balance with the giving and the receiving, which of course is tied to the masculine and feminine, which of course is tied to the whole transition right now, the Jupiter kissing Saturn last night, everything. So, and on the flip side of the same coin, being able to, again, stand in your own body sovereignty and your own energy, and give and receive from a place that feels good. Manage your own energy. Let your yes be yes, your no be no. And again, when I was in that place, especially during the acute phase of my illness, those first 2 weeks, I could not, even getting on to the people I knew I needed to talk to, like firing up a screen was difficult, right? Like I could not, people that were just saying, how you doing, how you feeling, I couldn't, there was like a very strategic, like what's the absolute necessity of communication here. And then as it built, maybe I would write an update every other day and then just copy and paste it to some people that were interested. But you can feel how there's strategy, there's prioritization, I think is the word I'm looking for. There was a prioritization of energy rather than just kind of flitting about and like scattered energy. It's like, what's my number one job here? My number one job in that time was to get better. And who's helping me do that? And how am I doing that? How am I doing that for myself? How am I staying in my energy? Not trying to manage others while I'm doing this. And how am I stepping outside of my comfort zone and receiving more than I have before, and resting more than I think I should, and really balancing that give, receive, that masculine, feminine. Okay, let me know how that sits with you guys. And as I'm thinking about it, like that is also the nature of nature, right? Like the nature of creation. The sun's not going to be to the plant, oh, you got enough sunlight, like I'm just going to like go away now. I'm not going to offer this one tree sunlight out of, you know what I mean? The cyclical, the nature works in cycles, right? So the give receive nature of creation works in cycles, and there's going to be times where you're the giver and there's going to be times where you're the receiver. So how this relates to the body, to bring it back to the body, you will always, if your give-receive ratio is not balanced, is not harmonized, I should say, in a way that feels good, or if there's resentment tied to something, or if you're just plain old carrying too many book bags that aren't yours, you're going to start to feel that in your body in the form of, pains in the back, pains in the neck, pains anywhere in the body. You're going to start to develop illness. Resentment is often in the liver. So that's how it has to do with the body, is kind of getting those, getting our behaviors to match our beliefs, and then our body follows along, if that makes sense. So it's important. Let me just catch up on your comments. I'm glad you're catching me live too, Jana. Or let me know if I'm supposed to pronounce that Yana. I was checking with my friend who had COVID every day. She's anxious. She's honestly giving up. It hit her really hard, especially as she doesn't go out at all and works from home. So glad she had you to check in on her. So glad that she had you to support her during that time, or still has if she's still going through it. So awesome. I want to let you guys know. So that was day 3 of new body wisdom, and these are ways that this new energy is kind of settling into our bodies. Obviously, things don't change overnight. That's why I'm doing this over the course of 2 weeks. And we are responsible to keep like building on that and to welcome the energy. It's not just like, I know there's like events, right? But it's not like our reality overnight, right? We still have the responsibility to, and the joy and privilege to change our lives, right? And to actively work on releasing these beliefs and welcoming in new ones, and thinking about it through the body as well. And I won't repeat everything I said in the first 2 videos, so you can go back and see how those relate as well. If you want more support with this, I'm offering what I'm calling the New Body Wisdom Intensive, which it's intense in the energy, but it's actually a really light and fun container where you get 2 sessions with me a week apart, and written support, email support, messaging support in between, to really zero in on how these energies are affecting your own body and how you are affecting these energies. Again, the give, receive, the ratios, so I use my body channel. We delve into the physical and maybe the emotional side or mental side as well. And I have those on special right now. So I have 3 left. Let me know. Just go ahead and DM me if that's something you guys are interested in. All right, I'm gonna hop off so this doesn't get too long. Yana, okay, got it now. Well, for the future, and I'm sending you guys all the love. I should be back one more time before Christmas, but these are available until January 4th. So let me know if you would like one. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.